with a baseball bat. It's not yours. It will subside eventually. So everything in space and time, of course including your body, is like a borrowed money. Eventually it all disappears. Deluded people are attached to this borrowed money as if it is yours. And then, because deluded, they create all kinds of unwholesome karma. And once you have created the unwholesome karma, you have to pay for that. And that's the truth. So we just read in the Dharma words, the essence of the truth of Irwan. Irwan means one circle with no circumference. The circle you see, which has circumference, is not real Irwan, the circle. Like in geometry, true circle, you cannot see it. What you draw on the board or on a paper, the circle is not real circle. Just like that, the circle you see, Irwan Sang. Sang means the form, refers to true Irwan, which is your Buddha mind. Remember, if you are enlightened to this Buddha mind, which is referred to by this circle, Irwan Sang, unless you are enlightened to that, you are just ordinary human beings, most likely being dragged by the karma force you create. To free yourself from the law of karma, you have to be enlightened. Only when you are enlightened to your original nature, Buddha nature, then you will have the power to free yourself from all the tangled, mixed up, complicated human relations and in the workplace. And if you're not enlightened to your own Buddha nature, you don't have the power to free yourself. You fight them. And there's no one to fight with. It will be awfully nice, somebody who can stand by you and then fight with you. Fight what you think is evil. No. It all depends on your spiritual power. And unless you are enlightened to your original spiritual power, which is Buddha nature, Buddha mind, you don't have it. So even though you are living in a wonderful world like this one, it's a really wonderful world. Unless you have the power, spiritual power, coming from the enlightenment to your original nature, you live like a slave. You have no power to free yourself. So, what is the truth of Irwan Sang? As I said the other day, on the other Sunday, it may take years to explain thoroughly and completely what this truth of Irwan Sang is. On the other hand, it's very simple. Very simple is this. In the Buddhist tradition, there are two schools of philosophy. One is called Shunyatavada, meaning emptiness doctrine, which teaches emptiness. The other one is consciousness only. The only reality is consciousness. Vijñanavada, sometimes called in Sanskrit, Vijñapti Matrata is a Sanskrit, which is the consciousness only. The second one, consciousness only, what they teach is this: the whole world is nothing but the manifestation of your own consciousness. And without your consciousness, you cannot experience of seeing the beautiful flowers, the blue sky. You cannot hear anything. You cannot taste anything. A quick example would be like if you have a cube of sugar on the table, do you think the sugar, cube of sugar itself, there's the sensation of sweetness going on and nobody is tasting it? No. Unless your mind somehow participates when you put a lump of sugar in your mouth, only then sweetness is created. You know, like a computer. You have a CD, DVD, when it is left on the table, look at it. It's shiny, nice looking, but it doesn't give you the sound and the moving pictures of those until you put it into the computer or CD player. In a wonderful world. The world out there, according to this school, consciousness only school, is like a CD or DVD lying on the surface of the table. The world is. It's your mind. Your mind. When you open your eyes and then you are awake, then for the first time, the color, sound, smell, taste, hardness, softness, hot, cold, for the first time produced. Look at the heat. What is the heat? Do you think that like a iron ball which is hot, there is like a hotness in the iron ball? No. The only thing there is the fast movement of the molecules of the steel or the iron ball. There's a fast moving, very fast moving in the motions of the molecules. Only human mind, when somehow comes close to it, and that is interpreted. I mean, your mind creates pain, hot, and so on. So it's absolutely your mind which creates the world which you experience. From this point of view, you are great that you don't know. You know how great you are as a human being? The world you experience is yours. God forbid if you're born with you are congenital blind and a deaf, mute, and so on. If you're born that way, there is no color, no sound whatsoever. This is the meaning of what the Chittamatra, consciousness only school teaches. Okay? Now we are dealing with the most fundamental philosophy and problems in both Western and Eastern philosophy. What is the ultimate reality? The world you experience there, according to this school, is mind only. Of course, in the Western philosophy too, Bishop Berkeley said, the only reality in the world is infinite mind, which is God's mind, and ideas in the mind. So mountains, rivers are nothing but ideas. And ideas can exist only in the mind. Whose mind? God's mind. It's a very coherent philosophical system. So it's not only in Buddhism, but in the Western philosophy too. More than that, somehow starting with Descartes and the continent and John Locke, Berkeley, David Hume, all these empiricists all agree that the direct object of your mind, when you perceive something, owes to your sensitivity, that is your mind. If your mind does not participate in your experience of the external world, there is no color, no sound. Like, what is sound? The sound is a vibration of the air, isn't it? And if the vibration of air is left alone, there is no sound. You may imagine, well, even if nobody is listening to your stereo, there will be a sound. No way. Of course, there's a problem, philosophical problem, unsettled. But these philosophers say, unless your mind participates, there is no object of your senses, color, sound, and so on. Even the great German philosopher Immanuel Kant also said, as far as the